For section 5.3, we're going to look at division of polynomials. We're going to divide polynomials by a monomial, and then we're going to divide a polynomial by a polynomial using long division, not synthetic division. I want to start with an example of monomial division. So when you divide a polynomial, in this case a trinomial, by a monomial, the way that you do it is you take this monomial and you actually just divide each separate term by that monomial. So what it actually looks like is that first term, 5m cubed divided by 5m squared, minus the second term, 9m squared divided by 5m squared, plus your third term, 10m divided by 5m squared. Now, a lot of times when you do this, you're left with a remainder. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's start right here. 5m cubed divided by 5m squared. The 5's cancel, and m cubed divided by m squared, remember if we subtract, is just m to the 1. Minus, now let's look at our second term. 9 divided by 5, we can't divide that out nicely. 9 divided by 5 is just 9/5, and m squared divided by m squared actually cancels. Plus, now let's look at our last term here. 10 divided by 5 is 2, but I'm actually left with an m in the bottom. And if you look at where that came from, I have m to the 1 over m to the 2. If you cancel those m's, you're left with 1m in the bottom. So this is what it looks like when you have a remainder. This is actually my answer. The m minus 9/5, and then plus 2 over m back here happens to be my remainder. Now let's take a minute and look at long division, which is, it lives up to its name, it's long. The numerator, in this case the trinomial, goes under our division sign. And the binomial, m minus 2, comes out here. That's what we're dividing by. So the first term, m, here is really important, and we're going to use him a lot. What we want to do is say m times what is going to get me 2m squared. So let me write that over here. M times what is going to get me 2m squared. My goal first is to cancel the first term using this m. So m times what is going to get me 2m squared? Well, m times 2m. Once I discover that this 2m is what I need, I put it above its like term. In this case, its like term is this m in the middle. Once you have that, you multiply down. So 2m times m is 2m squared, which is what we wanted it to be. But then you also have to take the 2m times this negative 2. So you have to multiply it times the m, and then you have to multiply it times the negative 2. So 2m times negative 2 is negative 4m. And then you subtract. 2m squared minus 2m squared cancels. That's what we wanted. 2m squared minus a negative. Well, minus a negative actually becomes a plus, and we end up getting m plus 4m, in this case 5m. And then, of course, we carry down that negative 10. Now we're going to start the whole process over again using our first term. So we're going to use this m again. Now we're going to look at this 5m. We're going to say m times what is going to get me 5m. m times what is going to get me 5m? Well, m times 5 is going to get me 5m. So once I've discovered this 5, it's a positive 5. He comes over here as a positive 5 and part of my answer. And then just like we did last time, we take this positive 5 and we multiply it down times both. You've got to multiply it times the m and times the negative 2. So 5 times m is 5m, 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, and we subtract just like we did before. 5m minus 5m cancels. That's what we wanted. Negative 10 minus a negative. Well, minus a negative becomes a plus. So negative 10 plus 10 is a 0, and we are not left with a remainder. My answer is 2m plus 5.